This is undoubtedly the most beneficial thing that you could focus on in our game, Throw the Fight 2. Welcome back to the Throw the Fight 2 YouTube page, and today I'm going to go over weak points. And I know weak points sounds like it's real gamified, like hit the weak points, hit the little dots, make the little buzzer go off. But in real life, you have weak points, very much so. Your chin, very much a weak point. Your nose, you know what's funny, before fights, my coach would grab like his palm and put it on my nose and kind of make circles and kind of press into it. The first time you get hit in the nose, it kind of makes your eyes water, and if you're not really warmed up to it, the first punch to the nose or that first impact doesn't necessarily feel good if it's like in the actual fight. So you know that was like a little warm up for that, like that nose, because it is a weak point. And then you have like the obvious ones like the temple, you have obvious ones like the chin, you have obvious ones like we've all seen a big body shot and the guy drops to a knee, can't catch his breath. You've heard the noise, we both heard the noise of a solid can't. It takes the air from you. It's the worst thing. I've had it done to me multiple times. I have a very, very strong memory of a particular time. This was what I think is worse. It was an MMA, but nonetheless, one of my first coaches threw a push kick, but it wasn't like a push kick. It was like a bladed push kick where you're not necessarily pushing with the bottom of the feet. You're kind of pointing the toes and like stabbing the solar plex. So instead of, pushing here, like with the bottom of your foot, you're kind of stabbing, pointing your toe and pushing there. Anywho, I have a very, very, very strong memory. This was I was probably 18 years old. This was 15 years ago, 16, so how old? He threw that push kick, fell to the ground. I just remember searching for air and no air was there. It was probably the first real time I got put down like that. And it stays in my core memory, so weak point. I kind of went off on a tangent there, sorry, but weak points exist inside of our game too. So today we're going over weak points. I'm going to teach you some combinations that you could hit to amplify those weak points. But really, let's focus on hitting combinations, whether it's setting up the weak point, boom, or starting big with body shot, or whatever it becomes. Let's get going. Now, one of the biggest weak points that we all focus on is the temple weak point. Now, the chin is probably a very close second, but I think me and you both know why the temple is a weak point that most people focus on. Now that we got that out of the way, we're gonna also say that there's other ways that it could be point outside of that. Now, I didn't want to just tell you, here's a jab cross hook, you can throw a hook to the temple. We all know this. But the simplicity of hitting small angles and still hitting that temple, but with a straight punch, sometimes isn't very obvious, so let's go over it. I'm in my stance, and let's just say I'm going against a right-handed fighter. I want my left cross to hit his left side of his face. I'm gonna use my right hand jab to jab in his face as I hit the small angle. Slowly, it's gonna be a step with the extension and a back step with the pullback twice. Step, 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 step. I just want this small angle so this big cross can go there. Now it's obviously not going to be, my footwork's not going to be that slow, it's going to be a little bit quicker, but my point is that that's the slight angle that we need, and this is the motion. You're right in the space, you're here, and I want to go step, step, with the small angle so this left cross can go down the pipe. So again, try again, maybe a little bit faster here. Pull out once you're at this angle. Bad. You can same technique. You can even slow with those punches. Whenever you're ready for it, we use that double jab. Doesn't have to be right away, but you want to focus on hitting it. And maybe for you, 1 or 2 jabs is not enough. Maybe you need to pump 3 jabs out there to hit the angle. You're going away from the power side and you're hiding behind the shoulder, so you are generally safe from damage. So if I'm here and I throw the 1 and the 1, and maybe you follow a little bit with me, maybe I do need that extra big step 1 to really get off the line. So it's not just 2 jabs, it can be 1, 2, 3, you're kind of pushing it 4, calm down, create a better angle. But sometimes you need that third kind of angle, especially if you have a quick flip of pump. In the stance, you're here, jab, 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 jab. Now, something I forgot to mention is that I'm doing this in the opposite stance, so kind of why it makes sense. If I was in the right-handed stance, then I would be going towards my opponent's power shot. So that's kind of tough to get to maybe counter over the top if I'm going the same stance going towards his power shot. So I didn't mention that at the beginning, but now focus on that. So I am a southpaw fighter, I'm a left-handed fighter. I fight right-handers a lot. The thing is I switch my stance a lot too. So let's just say if this guy's right-handed, great. I can stay on my natural southpaw stance. I can double jab here, get the angle, you cross. If I miss the cross, I can hit it. Let's just say for this case, my opponent stays right-hander, and I'm here. Now I can be in my right-hander stance. Whenever I was a southpaw and I do this jab, it was a jab, step to the outside, bring it back, back step. Now I'm gonna lead the opposite. I'm gonna lead with the back foot now. So if I'm here right-hander to right-hander, I'm going the opposite way. I still wanna hide behind that shoulder back here. It's a jab with the back step now, not that front step. So jab, back step. Then I can bring it back with the front step. Now I'm still hiding behind the shoulder. Now this crossing now. So here. Or if you need more of the angle, my southpaw side, still want to hide behind, but I have more distance to cover. I have 1 or 2, and right-hander to right-hander. Oh, I have a bum right arm right now, guys. I'm like an old man, so forgive me. My right arm's still hitting hard, so that's awesome, but I'll get on that. I'm gonna stick with me. My right arm can do jabs. So, double jab, boom, boom, left hand, temple. Now the tempo weak point is not the only weak point that we have, so let's focus on some others. Back in the T pose, this is my punching bag for now. Now the chin is a very close, ooh, look at that. My arm is fine actually for that. Maybe that's it. I need to stop throwing jabs and crosses and just power pose. You found it? Sorry, just kidding. All right, right arm's still, genuinely, my right arm is so wounded. It's been like 3 weeks and I haven't been able to throw it properly, so this is, I'm telling you this because take care of yourself. I've had to take some time off and be responsible, and it is so frustrating. But so if you have some injuries, like me, please take the time, rest, recover, because I didn't, and then I have an arm that is very much in pain. But it's getting better if you're concerned. Never mind. All right, I digress. All right, chin. The chin weak point to me is easiest access with a straight punch. I'm right-handed, but I fought left-handed my whole life. So this left hand cross is so comfortable. I can throw it hard, I can throw the hook hard, and this right hand, it's okay. It has power, but it's just not as versatile. It doesn't feel as comfortable throwing it. And I say that because the first way I'm gonna teach you to hit this chin point is the obvious one, the cross. Now you can hit that cross the most obvious way, right down the pipe, but I'm gonna get this guy in a stance and I'm gonna show you some different ways to do it. So he's in a pretty good stance, right? Typical, shoulders high to the chin, his hands up, it looks pretty good. But that cross is sometimes hard to kind of slice through here, right? So if I have to stay in the pocket here and see, let's just say he has like an active gun. Let's just say, let's record, and let's just say he's here and he has like this flow. Not just like a sitting down. So if I were to try to throw this cross down the pipe, there's situations like right there where the gloves get closer and maybe it's gonna be harder to get through if that's the case. So I'm gonna really have to, time that cross. Ooh, there, it's not through, look at that. So I'm really gonna have to time that cross to get through. So right on the pipe, right on the pipe, right on the pipe. So there you go, glove collision, which is exactly how it should be, right? You have to find your ways in and really connect. That one ricocheted off the glove. So it makes sense that this is all happening, but I'm saying that getting in is kind of tough. One thing to do is blade the cross. So think of it like this. If the cross is having a hard time getting in because it's so thick going in that direction, just blade that cross this way. So I'm gonna throw it from my chin, straight down the pipe, never turning over that strike. Right across, down the pipe. I had to aim for the nose, not the chin. Didn't even get contact there. Okay, I hit a small angle, I got it. But my point is that sometimes it's hard to get through, right? And sometimes if the guard's up, it's hard to get through. Just blade that cross, slice through. Now, I think this lead hand uppercut is the most underused, most valuable tool inside of Thrill of the Fight 2. If you're a right-handed fighter, here's a little tip. If you know you're gonna throw a big mean uppercut, you have a solid right hand, maybe your left hand isn't as dominant. It's like the opposite of mine, right? The left hand can throw hard and the right hand can do okay. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a tip on this one. It's a little bit of a cheat code if you ask me. If you're right-handed and you fight right-handed, stand southpaw. I want your lead uppercut, your power hand to be up front. So again, we're looking for the chin weak point. I'm gonna slip off the line, throw that lead hand uppercut. You can try both stances. This is my power side. And I hit weaker for my power side, funny enough. Now that you see the numbers on these uppercuts, you realize what I'm talking about. Sitting right here in the pocket is such a deadly place to be if you're the person that knows what they're doing. The pocket is tough because the guard is high. You have a lot of protection. The weak points, boom, it's right there. All these, that little, tiny little box from the nose to the chin. And look at this, these guys. So that weak point, staying up close, hitting that solid uppercut, going to the temple, firing to the nose, going to the body. Focus on those weak points. Today, I just focus on the temple and the chin. Really open your eyes to the versatility of those. It doesn't just have to be, whenever you're throwing hard, if I hit the weak points, awesome. Have you ever heard, I played baseball growing up. So whenever you're up at the plate and you're gonna hit the ball, they tell you never take your eyes off the ball, right? We've all heard it before. And the same thing here. Keep your eyes on the ball at all times. Pick your weak points. So if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed. And all right, I gotta go. My dog has to go outside. If you haven't already, subscribe, right?